Hi everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Unofficial Lecturers. My name is Kenneth Mahodielo, and as always, I'm with my beautiful guest, Mmathapelo Mapanyela. So, in this video, we will be discussing a very interesting topic, guys. So, we know that we've been in a lockdown for some time now, and people have become a bit scared. People have become a bit skeptical because of we no longer have job security. Some people have been retrenched, some are getting uh, half of their salary, some are not getting anything at all. So those who still have the means of some sort of money with them, they have now wanted to take a leap of faith and try to start to invest and start to save what they have. So in this video, I get a lot of questions from people wanting to invest. So in this video, I will be answering some of the questions, some of the frequently asked questions by people who need help in terms of how to invest. So many people just realize that not having a savings and investments account is not a good idea. People now want to start saving money to avoid uncertainties, as their jobs are not guaranteed, and having multiple streams of income has now become more paramount and crucial than ever. But the real question remains, is now the right time to invest your money in markets? I don't know. I receive a lot of questions about investing and how investment work. This came after big companies like Sasol, the Big Five, and the Boeing company made headlines. Now, in South Africa, people are looking at investing through platforms that are affordable and easy to use. Now, one platform that is affordable is called Easy Equities. That is one cheap platform that you can invest in. But obviously, you need some background knowledge, you need to learn the app, you need to learn few things before you can start investing on Easy Equities. Now, in this episode, I'm answering the frequently asked questions. There are 6 of them, the frequently asked questions. So I will share the questions between myself and Ms. Mmathapelo right here. So let's look at the first question. The first question, they say, how do you profit from buying shares? How do you profit from buying shares? So I'm going to give that question to my colleague. How do you
There we go
profit
again.
from
Colleague. There we go again.
Well, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give this question to Mmathapelo. The first question being, how do you profit from buying shares? She used to be my colleague. That's why I still call her colleague. How do we profit from buying shares, Mmathapelo?
I think what is important, I think the reason why there's some sort of confusion around how does one profit from buying shares. People want to use the traditional method of profiting. You buy something and then you get a profit from it. And even with shares, it still works like that. So if I am to simplify it, how does one profit from buying shares? It simply means that if you bought per share, or if you bought one share at 20 rands, and then when you sell it, the value of the share has appreciated and it is now 35 rand. The difference between what you used to buy the share and the value at which you are selling it, the difference between the two is what we call a profit. So that is how one profits from buying shares. Of course, there is the other longer term. There's the other longer term option, which is what we call dividends. So after each financial year, when the company makes profits, they would declare a certain portion of that profit as dividends. But also remember, with dividends, it's really upon the company. Some companies make profits but still don't declare dividends. So the other way in which one can profit from buying shares, but that is mainly from a longer term perspective, when the company that you have bought shares in declares a dividend, and then you will be paid in proportion of the shares that you have bought. So I think that is mainly how one can profit. So those are the two are main ways in which one can profit from buying shares. Yeah.
True. I think just to emphasize on Mmathapelo's points that she made, that's how you profit from buying shares. You know, when companies perform a lot better, then they will increase in value, and their share price will also go up. So when the share price go up, if you buy it at 10 rand and the next day or the next 6 months or a year, the value of that company is now worth 20 rand. Obviously, you would have made the profit in terms of the difference between what you invested and what is now the value of that company. Thank you for the inputs, Mmathapelo. Let's look at the second question. The second question, they say, which shares can I buy during the lockdown? Oh, now this is a very interesting question. Which shares can I buy during lockdown? Guys, one of the reasons why Easy Equity is the cheapest to invest is because you don't have financial advisors, you don't have portfolio managers. So you are expected to make your own analysis, you are expected to make your own research. And one of the things that I know with our people is that they are, I don't want to use the word reluctant, but they kind of like don't take the effort to do the research and to also do the background information, and to also just gather information on companies that are doing well. From my side, I like to use a website called MoneyWeb, which assists me in terms of checking. Or
Is MoneyWeb the same as investing.com?
It's more or less the same, but with MoneyWeb is just, I use it for news. So for my side, I like to use MoneyWeb to read news on companies, on how they are doing, on if they have any headlines they are making, and any financial decisions and future decisions about companies. They will state them on that website. And I also like to use the investing.com app, because it assists me to, at least on day-to-day basis, to assess the price of share, to assess the price of companies. Then I'm able to make a decision instantly there in terms of which companies do I want to invest in. And again, with the investing.com app, it's a very, very useful app, guys. Please make sure that when you are going to invest in platforms like Easy Equities, I'm telling you, you need to have a platform like investing.com, because there you are able to manage a real the share price of companies instantly. Those prices are live. Obviously, there's a 15-minute delays of prices, but those are the best live prices of companies that you can check out. So those are two platforms I use: MoneyWeb as well as investing.com. Now back to the question, which shares can I buy during the lockdown? For my side, it's a difficult question. At the same time, it's an easy question, because we might think we know what is the obvious companies to look at. But I mean, like, during this pandemic, you want to look at companies that are not doing well. And obviously you must look at companies that you know background of. Your Sasol company, Sasol is a big company and it's not doing well because of the crash of the oil prices, because oil crashed, so it's not doing that well. So you want to look at companies that you know that in future they are going to be able to also pick up again. But this again depends on what you want to do as an individual. Do you want to invest over a long term or a short term? You know, I always tell people that investing is good when you have a perspective of a long term, because in a short term the price may just fluctuate. So your risk appetite also depends. If are you a person with high risk or lower risk?
You must quote me.
Yeah, I will always quote her. So your risk appetite also plays a crucial role in terms of deciding which shares to buy. Now, for example, for short term, I'm going to start with short term, Mmathapelo. You can assist me here. For short term, for short term period, I think people can look at companies like, or industries like your healthcare industry. I think we all know that the pandemic is here for some time. It's gonna be here for some time. People are going to fall sick. Even in South Africa, we are now getting in the winter season, more people will have flu, will need to buy medication, will need to consult, and all of those. So buying shares in the health sector is one of the investment that you can do, because those shares at the moment they will pick up, and for some time I can tell you that the coronavirus is not going to go after a year or after just 6 months. So look out for companies in the health sectors. They are going to be doing very well at this point. So from your side, Mmathapelo, do you have any short-term company that you think might be doing well in the next 6 months or 1 year?
Um, you know what, I'm very reluctant in terms of saying this company is going to do well and this company is not going to do well, mainly because what we see is not the exact true reflection of the operational issues within a company. For instance, even with Sasol, okay, what we know that Sasol has a debt, has debt issues. We know that the demand for petrol is not as significant as in normal day-to-day situations, but what we don't know is the operational turnaround strategy in the company. And those are some of the things that are very important. And also, knowing that turnaround strategy does not mean that the turnaround strategy will work. Hence for me, I am very reluctant to say, okay, this company might be doing well, will do well in the short run, and then in the long run this one is going to. It mainly depends on how you do your own research, and I like to advise people to do their own research, so that whatever decision that they make, they can hold themselves accountable. To say that, you know what, I bought these shares not because I was told by so and so, because it is so easy for us when we get an unfavorable outcome than what we wanted, then it's easy for us to start passing the blame. To say, you know what, I actually didn't even want to invest in Saswal. I actually didn't even want to invest in MTN and those things. But mama made me to do this. So it's so important for people to make decisions based on their own research. And I like the fact that you mentioned investing.com and MoneyWeb, because I would advise that take a good 2 weeks monitoring the performance of the companies that you might be interested in investing.com. So in investing.com, it shows you on a day-to-day basis how the company is performing. So take a good 2 weeks looking. So if you are interested in Saswa, take a good 2 weeks observing what is happening in Sasol. Is it going up? Is it going down? And then also look at the news that you mentioned in MoneyWeb, so that, okay, when it goes down, it does not come as a shock to you. Because the problem with making uninformed decisions, then we have things like your panic buying and your panic selling. Like you said, investing, it's good for you when you look at it from a long-term perspective. But if you are just going to do as what other people are doing, then it is easy for you to find yourself in a web of panic buying and panic selling, because you don't know what caused the price to decline, what caused the price to increase. So I'm not sure if I answered your question.
I think you did a little, but I just wanted your perspective from your own analysis of what you have made so far.
Okay.
What you would recommend on your side, or what you are currently doing as an investor yourself, But thanks for the background information that you just gave me. I think it is also a good information that you gave there, to say that people must go on and make their own research
check,
and do their own diligence to ensure that they know what they're investing in, and they are not investing because mama and mama said 1, 2, 3. So what I'm saying is, from your own analysis
what
as
am
an
I
investor,
investing in?
what are you looking at in the short term?
Okay.
What is your own analysis saying?
Okay. So based on my own analysis, what I'm investing in currently, I invested in Imperial Logistics, right? So why Imperial Logistics? When the president announced now level 5 of the lockdown, I get we were first on 21 days national lockdown, and then they introduced the 5 levels of the lockdown. What he mentioned is that the logistic company that will be supplying these food supplies and what was Imperial. So for me, it gave me an impression that, okay, Imperial Logistics will be doing well during that period, and that is what is happening currently. It is doing so well. I think I have a month now investing into it, and the value of my shares have increased by 30%. And then the other one that I invested in is Curo. So with Curo, the reason why I went for Curo, it's because it's an independent educational institution. So with independent educational institutions, learning is still happening as compared to your government learning institutions. I know Obokasi school has stopped. They are waiting for things to become better so that learners can go back to school. Whereas with your private schools, they are still learning is still happening electronically, online, and all of those things. So for me, it was a good decision to invest in Curo, mainly because of that. And also, it is also doing well. It's just that it fluctuates. At some point, it grew by 20%, and then now I think it declined by 10%. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I looked into.
Now let's look at the third question. So the third question, they say that I how do I how do I buy okay, how do I know when to buy and when not to buy? So that's a very interesting question. I would give a platform to Mmathapelo to start.
Hoy me under the bus.
How do I know when to buy? Yes.
And how do I know when not to buy? I think when the company is doing extremely well and it's at its peak. So when the company is doing extremely well and it's at its peak, the value of their shares will be expensive. So it wouldn't be advisable for you to buy when it's doing extremely well. And then when it's not doing well, that's where now you can capitalize on it, just like we did with Sasol. It wasn't doing well, we went full in. And then when it's doing well, you can either decide to sell it, or you can either decide to keep it for a longer term.
Yeah, I think just to add on what Mmathapelo is saying, for example, I've recently bought shares in Amazon.com, and the company is doing so well, guys. I don't want to lie, it's doing very well. But then with my own analysis, with my own analogies, I mean, like, when I look at the e-commerce sector, it's not going to decline anytime soon. In fact, I believe that technology is here to stay. So with many companies and sectors, yes, it's not. I agree with Mmathapelo. It might not be a good idea to buy when those companies are doing well, because you're not going to gain much. But when they are in crisis, that's where you must go in, because when they pick up, they will pick up, substantially. But with companies like Amazon, I know that e-commerce is here to stay. So that company is going to do well for a very long time, guys, because of technology. The use of technology now is becoming even more popular and popular. It's not even yet popular to where we wanted. They have recently opened a branch here in South Africa, in Cape Town. So just looking at it, I am foreseeing that it's going to do much more, even better after. Yeah, it's doing better as we speak, but it's going to do much more better even after the lockdown. So yeah, you kind of like have to look at the sectors in terms of if they are going to at any stage not do well, or if there will be any influences like in the technology sector, where we know that technology, it is here to stay. Now let's look at the fourth question. Mmathapelo, can you take us to the fourth question?
Okay, so I can't see from here, but I'm not blind. So how do I know it's the right time to sell my shares? So I think you can take this one.
Okay, how do I know if it's the right time to sell my shares? Guys, I always tell people about the economic graph, Mmathapelo, because the economic graph is like this. So at some point it will be down, at some point it will be up. But what you can see about it is that it's always going up. So the question of saying how do I know when to sell my shares, it's a bit tricky to answer. I mean, like, why will you sell your shares in a company that is doing well, in a company that is going to even expand? When you look at their plans, when you look at their capex, their capital expenditure, they are planning to even expand to other countries, and you can see that this company is going to be there for as long as it's possible. So I don't think you can decide to sell shares in such companies. But then you do also get to a situation where we saw Sasol declining from 500 rand to 27 rand. So sometimes in such companies, then you do want to sell to protect your investment. If it's good to lose 20% than to lose 100% of what you invested. So when you see that this company is just not going to come out, there's no way coming out of this thing, then I think that's when it is good time to sell your shares. But again, not only that, sometimes taking out your investment, it is because you want to do other things with that money. The reason why you invest is because of you have a goal, an objective tied up to this investment. Maybe after 10 years or 5 years, you want to take that money that you made and your profits and build yourself a house or buy yourself a car. So there's an objective into why you invest in the first place. So based on those objectives, you are able to know if you want to sell your shares so that you take out your money and you do what you plan to do with it. Mmathapelo, what's your take?
Yeah. Yeah, but you covered most of the things that I wanted to say.
It's okay.
You covered everything that I wanted to say. That it's very important. When to buy and when to sell should mainly be informed by your objective, but also you should also look at the company's performance.
True.
When as you can, if your research shows you that the share price is declining and there's no way that in the near future the company will pick up from where it was, then maybe probably sell and then buy again when you can see that there's like it's improving, the financial performance or the performance of the company is picking up. And then sometimes when you have reached your goal, if your goal was to buy share, was for the share to maybe multiply or for the share to double, when it doubles, maybe when as soon as you reach that goal of you doubling your share price, then you can sell. But it depends really on your objective. And then the next question is, if I buy shares, how often will I get paid?
Okay, this question, I'm going to give it to you,
guys.
or you can get. Okay, it's fine. I can take it.
I was taking the first three, so
yes.
You must take the last three.
Okay.
And then I add.
If I buy shares, how often will I be paid, or will I get to be paid?
I think we answered this one.
We did answer it, so we're not going to be that long on this one. Remember what Mmathapelo said in the beginning of this video, to say that there are companies like your MTN Group, like your Sasol, your Rainbow Minerals, where they pay dividends or they will declare dividends after financial year end. So chances are, if you buy shares in companies that pay dividend, you're going to be paid annually. There will be a dividend that will be paid annually. So yeah.
And even that, sorry to interrupt you there, and even the dividends, it's not a lot. The company can declare dividends of maybe 1 rand per share. Or dividends of 50 rands per share, depending on what the performance was.
And exactly, and also depending on how much you have invested, you know. So that is one way of getting paid. And the other method is selling your shares. If it makes money, then you take out your investment. You would have made profit from that, so you would have got paid from investing in that. So that one is your own discretion. You decide when you want to sell your shares. Maybe you can see that you are happy with the profits that it made and you want to sell. That's your discretion. But the formal payment that companies do is dividend that they declare at the end of the year. So yeah, next question.
Okay, so the last question is, what is the minimum amount I can buy shares with? So what is the minimum amount I can start with? Is it 50 rands? Is it 1 rand? Is it 5 cents? Is it 10 rand? What is the minimum amount? I think we've covered this in our 2-part series on savings versus investment, but I'll allow you to shine.
Please do. If you also want to check out one of our videos on savings and investment, you can,
link it.
I will obviously link it. You can just click at the corner there, or you can watch it on the other corner, whichever side it will be appearing, but you can watch it and see what we were saying about savings as well as investment.
Yeah, and in that, sorry to cut you. Okay. So in that 2-part series that we did, it's a little bit more comprehensive compared to just the questions that we are answering now. We are also talking about the different objectives that we are saying should inform whatever decision that you make. So I would really, really recommend, if you haven't watched those 2 videos, watch them and then maybe come back to this Q&A.
Sweet. So this one we're going to be very brief. What is the minimum amount I can buy shares with? Now, in with easy equities and with most investing platform, we have what we call fractional share right. So fractional share right, it means that it allows you to just buy a fraction of a share. If a share is 100 rand per share and you only have 10 rand, you are going to own 0.01, which is the 10%, because you only had 10 rand. 10% of that one share, which is 100 rand, you're only going to own it. So what this means, that it means you can start with anything. You can even start with 1 rand to buy shares. So there is no really minimum amount required to start buying shares, because of fractional share rights allows us to use any minimum amount we have to buy shares.
Yeah. And you can start with, and I think I explained this, that and as far as starting is concerned, start with as little as you can and then grow that amount into the ultimate goal that you have. So maybe start with 50 rands, next month commit to adding maybe 20 rands to the 50 rand that you started with, then it's 70 rand in that month, and then 80, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to say, I need 10,000, I need 5,000. As long as the little that you have, use it so that you can get used to how this investing versus non-investing works.
True, Mmathapelo. And I think again, with shares, it's also about the time you will be taking to invest in yourself, to learn how market work. Because of, really, if you're going to be putting so much money into buying shares, then you must put so much time as well into understanding how these platforms work and how markets work. So people find it difficult, they think that markets is for investors and market is for people who did accounting. But I will agree to a certain point, but your basic investing is for everyone, to be honest.
And you can always learn.
Yes, it's not that difficult. You just read the news. You just need to know exactly what makes the market move. So there's apps like Bloomberg, and there is apps like Times Live, there's business news. There's so much knowledge out there, guys, that you can invest in. And I always tell people, it doesn't matter if you watch this video, there might be someone telling the same subject when coming to shares. I would even recommend that watch that video as well. Watch as many videos as you can about markets, about how to buy shares, about investments. It doesn't matter. The knowledge will always be infinite. It's always out there for us to learn. Even with books, watch all the videos that you can, make your research, go in on the internet, guys. The information is there. The information is free. You don't need a formal course to know how to start to become a successful investor. All you need is time. All you need is for you to commit into learning and educating yourself about markets and investments. So guys, that was our frequently asked questions about markets and investments. Yes, you can still keep the questions coming on the comment section, and also don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. We always ask our people that please press the button below, just subscribe and just like the video, and just turn on the notification button on, so that next time when we upload the first video, you don't miss anything out.
From us, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you so much, and until we meet again, bye.